Taps acknowledges our trust is in God. We in the United States have all heard the haunting song, Taps. It's the song that gives us that lump in our throats and usually tears in our eyes, even though we don't know the words or the origins of the song. It's played at funerals to signify the end of a life. It's played on U.S. military posts daily at day's end. Of all the military bugle calls, none is so easily recognized or more apt to render emotion than the call, Taps. The melody is both eloquent and haunting, and the history of its origin is interesting and somewhat clouded in controversy. In the British Army, a similar type call known as Last Post has been sounded over soldiers' graves since 1885. But the use of taps is unique to the United States military, since the call is sounded at funerals, wreath laying, and memorial services, in addition to be played at day's end. A bugler sounds taps at the tomb of the unknown soldier in Arlington National Cemetery and at new grave sites about 30 times every day. Taps began as a revision to the signal for extinguished lights, or lights out, at the end of the day. Up until the Civil War, the infantry call for extinguished lights was the one set down in Silas Casey's music titled Tactics, which had been borrowed from the French. The music for taps was adapted by Union General Daniel Butterfield for his brigade, the 3rd Brigade, 1st Division, 5th Army Corps, and the Army of the Potomac in July 1862. Daniel Adams Butterfield was born in Utica, New York, and graduated from Union College at Schenectady. He was the Eastern Superintendent of the American Express Company in New York when the Civil War broke out. A colonel in the 12th Regiment of the New York State Militia, he was promoted to Brigadier General and given command of a brigade of the 5th Corps of the Army of the Potomac. Now, during the Peninsular Campaign, Butterfield distinguished himself when, during the Battle of Gaines' Mill, and despite an injury, he seized the colors of the 83rd Pennsylvania and rallied the regiment at a critical time in the battle. He was awarded the Medal of Honor for that act of heroism. As the story goes, General Butterfield was not pleased with the call for extinguished lights, feeling that the call was too formal to signal day's end, and with the help of the brigade bugler Oliver Wilcox Norton, they wrote music titled Taps to honor his men while in camp at Harrison's Landing, Virginia, following the 7 days battle. These battles took place during the Peninsular Campaign of 1862. The new call, sounded that night in July 1862, soon spread to other units of the Union Army and was so dignified, taps was heard and played by the Confederates to honor their dead as well. Taps was made an official bugle call after the war. The new bugle signal, also known as Butterfield's Lullaby, is called taps in common usage because it's used for the same purpose as the 3 drum taps. However, the U.S. Army still called it extinguished lights, and it didn't officially change until the name taps became official in 1891. As soon as taps was sounded that night in July 1862, words were put with the music. The first words were simply, "Go to sleep, go to sleep." As the years went on, many more versions were created. 2 lyric verses, however, quickly arose from the different military branches of service. Never sung in public events, always that haunting bugle solo, instrumental, by itself, commands the moment with dignity. Let me try to sing for you the 2 verses of taps you may have never heard before. Day is done, gone the sun, from the hills, from the lake, from the sky. All is well, safely rest. God is nigh. Did you notice? It ends with God is nigh. So what does that mean exactly? God is nigh concludes both versions. So it's the culmination of life, worthy of understanding the word nigh in detail. Webster's 1828 dictionary was the first American dictionary published. So let's discover what the true definition of the word nigh means in the days these lyrics were written. Nigh, adjective. Note that Webster often quoted Bible verses as examples in context. Definition 1, near, not distant or remote, in place or time. Number 2, closely allied by blood as a nigh kinsman. Number 3, easy to be obtained or learned, of easy access. The word is very nigh unto thee, which is in Deuteronomy 30:14. Number 4, ready to support, to forgive, or to aid and defend. The Lord is nigh unto them who are of a broken heart. Psalms 34:18. Number 5, close in fellowship, intimate in relation. Ye are made nigh by the blood of Christ. Ephesians 2:13. Number 6, near in progress or condition. Hebrews 6:8. So the ending phrase, God is nigh, is the greatest comforting words possible. As with many great American traditions, this solemn tradition continues today. Although Butterfield merely revised an earlier bugle call, his role in producing those 24 notes gives him a place in the history of music, as well as the history of war. I experienced an incredible spirit while listening to taps, even before learning the words to the song when I researched it for my book, The Christian Nation Revolution Regeneration. The music is haunting, drawing us to focus on our Creator and our own fragile mortality, and our God who holds us in His hands. Our military go to sleep by it nightly. This song is a wonderful Judeo-Christian song that gives glory to God, our Creator, thanks and praise, that confidence that God is nigh. Our confidence in Him is secure. As Judeo-Christian patriots, we must believe ourselves God is nigh before we can impact our country as patriots.
2, 1.
Really? I can't do it.
That's okay. No, you're doing good. You're really doing good.
Okay.
But hey, I want to look really like you're
Okay.
upset. 3,
All right.
2, 1.
Really? I can't.
It's okay. Do this.
Okay.
Wait. Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You gotta really kind of take that.
Okay.